1. Where I, female, 19, work, we have a masks required sign on the door because the mask mandate is back on where I live. Tonight, this couple came in not wearing masks, so I was like, hey, you need to wear a mask. And they were like, we have a medical respiratory condition, like severe asthma, and can't wear masks, and we go back and forth for a hot minute. And it ends with the lady saying, so you're refusing us service? And me and my coworker, female and 20, saying, yeah, we're not comfortable serving you if you aren't wearing a mask. And then the couple left. Thing is, these guys showed us no medical proof. Not sure if it's legally required, but we weren't just going to take their word for it. And as a private business, we have the right to refuse service. My coworker, who was literally wearing a mask, has severe asthma, so she wasn't buying it. And I have family members with severe asthma too, so I wasn't buying it. Also, who the hell goes out in a pandemic with no mask, especially if you have a serious respiratory condition? You're at a high risk for COVID, and it's the masks you're worried about? Anyways, the interaction spiked my anxiety. I was glad it ended. Until like 5 minutes later, when the guy from the couple comes in, without a mask still, and says, I need your names, I'm placing a lawsuit for medical discrimination. And me and my coworkers, female 20 and female 30s, are like, what? So we go back and forth again, and it ended with my coworkers arguing with him. And I asked if I should call the police, but they said no, let's just get the manager. By then, even though we were in the right, and the guy has no case, I'm trembling and losing feeling in my limbs from the stress. So I ran to the bathroom where, sure enough, I have an anxiety attack. The guy eventually left, but I was still panicking real fucking bad and had to leave work early. My coworkers told me we were in the right, which I know because we have the right to refuse service, and the mask mandate is law, and the couple never showed any medical papers. It's a case with no basis. I think he came inside to scare us because how dare these 3 girls refuse me service and get some kind of revenge. He was a fucking asshole, and I'm sure he will be refused service again at other places if he goes in maskless. It's been like 5 hours, and I still feel exhausted from the whole thing. I don't get paid enough for that shit. I've worked at my job for over a year, and that was the worst customer I've had. It's a small Pokeball restaurant, so things like this rarely happen. My manager doesn't speak English fluently, so I'm gonna talk to all my coworkers and make sure they know what to do if anything like this ever happens again. 1. Offer curbside pickup. 2. Tell the customer to talk to our company lawyer and refuse contact. 3. Call the cops for trespassing and public disturbance. I didn't call the cops because my coworkers and I were focused on not escalating things. But now I see. Play stupid games. Win stupid prizes. 2. So, it's a typical Sunday night in the Bible Belt. I'm used to shitty tippers at this point, and I rarely say anything to those shitty tippers as I know it's unprofessional and can cost me my job. But there were these 2 guys eating and drinking at the bar I work at. At first, they seemed friendly and nice. They were getting into craft beer. So I showed them some stuff, poured them samples, yada yada. They sat at the bar for about 3 hours. One of them had their bill already cashed out and wrote a fat line through the tip line, and I wanted to know why I didn't get tipped. The dude that stiffed me had a Total Wine shirt on, so I figured he worked in customer service and should at least have the decency to tip their fellow service worker. So I confront them. As they were getting up very swiftly out of their seats, I straight up asked, was everything okay with the service? They replied, yeah man, everything was awesome. Thanks for staying open late for us. And I go, well guys, you didn't tip me. I don't know if it was something I did or not, but like, what the fuck? I depend on tips to pay my bills. I just want to know if it was something I did. I know I shouldn't have cursed and been so aggressive, but I obviously was thinking with my emotions and not my brain. Meanwhile, my other co-worker, who was bartending with me, came up to the dude who stiffed us and said, I just want you to know that I make $2.13 an hour, and you didn't tip me, so I wanted to say thank you. She's about 6 months pregnant, so I'm sure she was more upset at them than I was. His friend felt terrible and came back and left 20%, and the dude who stiffed us was so embarrassed that he stormed away, came back, left $2 on the tip line, his bill was $37, and then stormed off. Well, today I was about to go into work, and the total wine guy called my boss, told her that I embarrassed him in front of a full restaurant, even though it was 30 minutes after close and they were the only ones there, and that he was going to leave a tip, but I didn't give him a chance, even though he was cashed out for a whole hour before he got up to leave. My coworker and I received a warning and told not to do that again, but you know, although that was so unprofessional of us to pull that stunt, I'm pretty sure that guy is going to remember that for a while, and may start tipping bartenders and servers, especially if he's going to be drinking craft beer in breweries and bars. That being said, I don't think it's smart to confront shitty tippers, especially curse around them, because they can definitely bite you in the ass and cost you your employment. Gonna try my hardest to stay humble after that one. 3. I work in a small restaurant with only 8 booths. There is a pair of customers, I'm almost positive they are siblings based on what they have told me about themselves, one male and one female, that come in several times per week, and sometimes the male customer will be wearing a dress and wig and go by a different name. They are incredibly kind, patient, and respectful, all the characteristics I love to see in customers. Last night, as they were leaving, a couple who are regulars came in and wanted a booth. We only had one open, the one where the siblings had just been sitting, and I got to work cleaning it up for them. Now, this husband and wife couple tends to come off as entitled. They expect us to bend over backwards to make them happy, and just have an arrogant feel to everything they say. I grabbed a towel to go and wipe the table, and the wife stops me, and the interaction went as follows. Ew, we don't have to sit where those weird people were sitting, do we? Did you see them? Those weird people? I don't want to sit where they were sitting. What weird people? I don't know if they were like 2 men or what, but I just find them so weird. What a weird couple. They left. Where were they sitting? I pointed to the booth where the siblings had been sitting. Is that where we're going? Yeah, it's the only booth open. Ew, well, okay, I guess. So I sat them, and the wife continued to rant to me the entire way to the table. I had to go back for silverware and menus. When I brought the silverware and menus to them, the wife again leaned over and said to me, I know it's horrible, but they just make me so uncomfortable. They're so weird. From what I've seen, this couple and the siblings have never interacted. So I know she's just basing this statement on the fact that she doesn't like the way they look. I was so shocked that she was being so open to me, someone she does not know personally, and she probably doesn't even remember my name, about her judging people she's never met. Not only that, but she was doing it loudly so other customers could hear, and she was disgusted that the only booth we had open was the one they had been sitting in. I can't imagine ever behaving or thinking like that. I now feel very protective of the siblings, and I hope I never have to wait on this woman again. Instead of acknowledging her rant, I just said, Your server will be right over for you. What I wish I had said is, I prefer to just mind my own business, they're very nice, I like them. What I wish I could have said is, they're some of the kindest and least entitled people I've ever waited on, unlike you. Maybe next time you should worry more about yourself and how you treat people than what someone chooses to wear out to dinner after a long day of work. Stay humble. 4. So I previously got a table, a party of 5 people, youngish, probably early 20s, first-timers who came to eat at our restaurant. We're a comfort food place, and in 3+ years I've been a server here, we've had very few complaints, and when we do, we fix it or comp it. But people have to make it known so we can fix it. These folks had ordered, and I made my rhymes with my other tables. I came back to check on them, asked how they were, and they said everything's fine, but could they get some to-go boxes and a check? Okay, cool, no problem. Brought them back the boxes and the check, which totaled a little over $100. They tipped me $5 with the words "poor food quality" underlined twice on the check. Now, I can understand if the food isn't to your taste. I understand if your food actually isn't up to par. I would have taken it off the ticket and gotten you something else, or just left it at that. But you do not punish me for the kitchen's misstep of your personal taste. It's hard enough for the restaurant industry out there. Later, the guy who paid for the meal that was apparently poor quality called back. Angie answers the phone. He says that they all feel bad after eating there. The food was bad and they're all sick. Angie says, "Okay, let me find someone more relevant for you to talk to," and puts him on hold, and just takes a walk. She goes to Charlie. Charlie is on the phone. Okay, not talking to Charlie. Takes another little walk. Goes to talk to Belle. Belle says, "Oh, that's interesting." Takes the phone and goes for another little walk, just keeping him on hold. Eventually gets to Charlie and hands him the phone. Charlie takes the call. So Charlie answers the phone and says, "This is Charlie, how can I help you?" He knows the whole situation, of course. The kids say they were just there and all of us were feeling bad after eating there. The food wasn't great, we're all sick from it. Charlie says, "You know, I was talking to my daughter on the phone. I haven't seen her in months. And I had to hang up with her to take this call, so tell me, how can I help you?"
I'm not happy about the way this call's going.
"Neither am I. Now, how can I help you?"
I want a refund for the food.
It was about 105 USD. So Charlie says, "Okay, I'll do that. I'll give you a refund, minus the $5 you left as a tip. That I think we can agree on. But you're going to do a few things for me too. First, if you ever come back here, you're not going to treat my server like that again. They ran their ass off for you, and I checked on you 3 times myself. I'm the owner. I'm the guy who cooked your food, and I don't care if you hated it. You do not take it out on your server. Second, you're going to go on the web, check the FDA health board, and look up how long it takes to feel the effects of food poisoning after you've eaten. And third, again, if you ever come back, you're going to deal with me, and only me." It is then that the phone beeped because someone else is trying to call. Charlie is a bit annoyed he's being interrupted, but tells the kid to hold on, he's taking another call. The caller is the guy's mom. This is where it gets juicy. So his mom calls out of state and fills Charlie in. Now, what I hadn't mentioned before, I think, was that between me giving them the bill and them paying, there was a big gap because he told me they needed a moment to just be there before they paid. I said, "Okay, sure, they must all be pulling money to pay in cash." What I didn't know was that the kid who paid was calling his mom to have her transfer money to his account so he could pay for it, because he apparently didn't have the cash in the first place. And then, before calling us, he called her to tell her that they were all feeling sick from the food, and she immediately sees through this. I'm banking on the idea that he didn't think she would call the restaurant. I'm guessing she might be able to see his account, or else he told her the name of the restaurant. So Charlie starts to tell her what the kid said, and she interrupts. "I'm gonna stop you there, he's BSing you. You give him his refund, but keep what he tipped. Then I'll pay for the food and add another 20% tip on top of it." And she did. So not only was he trying to scam us, he was trying to scam his mom. And I don't know who she works for, but he tried to leave an inflammatory 1-star review, and the mom's people, secretary, company folk, actually called back making sure he hadn't contacted us to see if the situation was resolved. Charlie told her about the review, and then 10 minutes later, it was mysteriously gone. 5. Hello, I'm a lead server, which basically entails front-of-house manager, but I also stay on rotation and take tables. At a local brewery with a scratch menu, about 20 to 25 items for the past 3 years. It's a smallish location in a strip mall, about 75 seats, 16-ish tables inside including the bar top, and 50 seats, 10-ish tables outside on our patio. We've been open about 5 years. On a normal shift, we have 1 to 2 hosts, 4 servers, 1 bartender, the chef expos the food, and 2 to 3 line cooks in a relatively small kitchen. As business has gotten busier over the past 2 years, there's some challenges. Per the owner, the host's duty is to sit guests 3 to 5 minutes apart to avoid slamming front of house and back of house tickets. No sooner than 3 minutes and no later than 5 minutes. It generally works out, although kind of awkward at open if there's a line of guests waiting, such as Sunday brunch, and fifth in line already has to wait 15 to 25 minutes. Servers are to communicate before sending food orders so as not to slam the kitchen. The goal is 3 minutes between each kitchen ticket being sent. This rule is very strict, and most times leads to us holding tickets to avoid getting yelled at. We're told not to hold tickets as sometimes servers forget to send them, but get screamed at if 2 tickets come in within 3 minutes of each other. For example, 2 tickets came in 1 minute apart this evening, and the chef took a photo of it and sent to the owner. The kitchen works 5 tickets at a time before pulling more off the printer as they're ready for them. It's kind of rough, as restaurants aren't always going to be linear and predictable. Some parties wait for joiners or aren't ready to order as quickly. This kind of communication between 4 servers and a bartender is very difficult while having 6 to 7 tables at a time. It's frequent the chef will say, "The next person who sends a ticket is fired," or make passive-aggressive comments about how the front of house basically sucks at their job. Sometimes the chef gets frustrated and walks off the expo line, leaving us 4 servers to expo on our own. Which, having that many hands in the expo line, leads to miscommunication and mistakes selling food. Ticket times aim to be 25 minutes or less, but lately take an average of 30 to 45 minutes as business picks up. Guests aren't happy waiting for their food after waiting so long at the door, albeit we cocktail them while they wait for a table. If there are open tables, the owner wants them slowly filled, again 3 to 5 minutes apart. Our chef will usually take an extended break midday and have many beers. He'll sit at the bar from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. most days, despite the staff drowning. He says it's disrespectful to bring up how he spends his breaks or him drinking. Every day he tells the owner how none of the front of house staff respects him, and just do whatever we want, which the owner lectures us about. To be honest, we're all very professional and love what we do, most of us working at this restaurant for years, but feel the lack of respect mostly comes from him and how he talks to us. We try to create solutions, but nothing ever works. I guess I'm just wondering if this is normal and if anyone has any advice or thoughts. It's always really intense and difficult to work in this hostile environment, where everybody wants to shift blame rather than focus on their jobs and getting through the rush. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 155. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe. Comments are also super helpful. Alrighty, I think we have a birthday shout out today. Let's see. Birthdays. November. There we go. That one's today. Is it only one for today? That's a little bit away. That's fine. Oh, wait, no, I've got 2 today. I didn't realize I had 2. Okay, we've got 2 today. And I think there might be another one for tomorrow. No, that's quite a while away. Okay, right, we've actually got 2 for today. And today's birthday shoutouts go to... No, that's not right. No, actually, we've only got 1 today. The 30th. No, okay. One of them's actually November 30th. And that's fine. You can send your shoutouts in as early as you like. They all get saved in a folder until it's time. And this birthday shoutout goes to Joshua. Joshua is 34 years old today, and this comes from your dad, William. I hope you have a great birthday today, Joshua. May it be filled with beer and ice cream. Well, if you're into beer. I'm not, but, if you are, you're welcome to have some. And plenty of cake as well. Beer and cake, is that a thing? I'd imagine it is. All right. Now, before we go, I'd like to sing happy birthday to Joshua, if I may. And then I will relax a bit before seeing if I'm going to maybe do a little bit of a stream later. I might start earlier than usual, I'm not sure. Anyway. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joshua. Happy birthday to you. Alrighty, and I think we're going to wrap things up there for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.